Well, that's a great way to start. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our live show for the rest of the story by Sarah Dessen. I don't have a copy, so this is how we're doing it today. And this book came out on June 4th, and hopefully I can remember everything because I read it a while ago. As always, I am here with Kathleen from For the Love of Books, and we're going to start off with initial thoughts, which are non-spoilers, and then we will let you know when we're going to go into spoilers. So, would you like to go ahead and start while I pull up my notes?
Sure. Hi guys, I'm Kathleen from For the Love of Books. I read this book 2 weeks ago, and I am, if you guys don't know me, I am a huge Sarah Dessen fan. I am someone who doesn't read a lot of contemporary, but when it comes to Sarah Dessen, I will buy her books and I will read them, just because I love her story so much. She has a very distinct writing style, and I really enjoy her writing style, the way she tells her stories. So I was really, really excited for this book. It's definitely not my favorite Sarah Dessen books. I definitely have them in rank of which ones I love the most, and this one definitely is not in the top 3. But I still loved it. It still had that Sarah Dessen distinct writing style. I enjoyed it. I did give it 5 stars, although it's hovering around like 4.5. But I decided because I just love her so much. I decided to bump it to 5 stars. I don't really have any real complaints about this book. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Um, it was a great story. It was a very great Sarah Dessen typical story.
I'm trying to have like some more light over here. Here we go. I think I gave this 4 stars. I didn't check before starting this. But I'm the type of person that reads a lot of contemporary, but I don't read a lot of Sarah Dessen. I've read maybe like less than 5 of her books, including this one. And I read this at the end of May because I got an ARC, and I have a couple of different notes and a couple of different things about it. Overall, I enjoyed it. Because a 4 for me is like it's great or good, but just small flaws, which I have written down in my notes that we'll talk about in the spoilery section. I don't really think it's going to change like whether I read more Sarah Dessen or not. I have other books that I'd rather read over Sarah Dessen. But overall, I enjoyed this. And yeah, that's where we're at on there. I'm trying to tweet out the link really quick. But yeah, I have thoughts, and I actually have a quote in my notes that kind of shows just how unrealistic some YA books can be. And as soon as I tweet out the link, I will be able to share it. Okay, so we're going into spoilers now. In case you haven't read this book and you don't want to be spoiled. And this was actually the first thing that I put on this. I wish I had a page number on this quote. So this quote is from roughly in the first chapter, at least, and it says, "I would have my own suite with a big airy bedroom as well as a bathroom and a small balcony." And my response to that is, you're 16. Why do you have that? Why do you need that? You don't. And
Because she's
because
rich.
it's an unrealistic young adult book.
Well, yeah, but her dad is rich. So
But why do you need that?
that's generally most of Sarah Dessen books. Most of her main characters are people like the parents, like the authoritative figure, like the parental figures in the story tend to come from very supportive families. Like I just read, oh God, what's the book called? Lock and Key, and she herself came from a very, very poor family because her mom was very poor, but her mom abandoned her, so she went to live with her sister and her husband owns this huge, huge social media platform, and so they're literally like billionaires. And she has like this huge room. But yeah, for those of you who have never read a Sarah Dessen book, most of these characters do have like nice lines.
Like, You're 16. Like, humble yourself a little bit. Now, granted that, I mean, I think that's kind of what the whole like book does anyway. But like, just that quote at the beginning, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, no. Whether your parental figures are dentists or not, were they were dentists, right?
I think so, yeah.
They were dentists. But yeah, that is like was like the perfect example of why young adult contemporary, like a lot of it, especially like Sarah Dessen was somebody who pops out 2 books a year, is like so unrealistic.
Yeah, I do agree. Like a lot of contemporaries were like, why did these people have nicer lives than I did?
Yeah. Also, I noticed very early on in this book, I don't think you've read it, but it was giving me Second Chance Summer vibes, which is by Morgan Matson, and
In
I
what
got a. What'd you say?
in what way?
Like in the whole, because in Second Chance Summer they're going to their like lake house because like the dad has cancer, and they're like one more summer at the lake house, and in this she's not going to a lake house necessarily, but she's going to a motel by a
Yeah.
lake where her family lives, where her mother's family lives. So it was giving me that sort of vibe, and like, oh, there's the boy that you grew up with and all that and stuff like that. Literally, that's literally Second Chance Summer. Is, oh, the boy you haven't seen since childhood. He can tell you the secrets of your past. Except I really, really liked Second Chance Summer, and it made me cry. But not the point.
Uh, the thing is also, Sarah Dessen books are also not all of them, most of them are set during summer.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are about, going to the beach. There's this beach town. It's even mentioned in the book that there's a beach town that's very close. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot what the name of the town was. That's very close to where this book is set. And that's a lot of Sarah Dessen books are set in that little small town. And these characters are always visiting someone there or spending
Mm-hmm.
the summer there. They're never actually from that town. They just go to that town. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've read That Summer by her, and I've read Someone Like You, and then this one. I think that's it. I'm on Goodreads, like looking.
Those are the two books I have not read by her.
Well, it was a while ago that I read both of them. Wow, That Summer was published in 2006. Wow.
You
Well,
were like,
I read it a couple years ago. I'm kind of just scrolling through Goodreads to see like what I have and haven't read because I don't know. I couldn't tell you a single thing about That Summer. The only thing I can probably tell you about Someone Like You is I think somebody gets pregnant in it. That's
okay.
like the only thing I know. And apparently I gave That Summer 4 stars. So I wrote down the page numbers for this, but from page 50 to 51, I noticed that there's such a large friend group, and it was hard to keep up with everybody. And even now, I probably couldn't tell you who was who. Like I know who Rue is, and I know there's the cousin Jack, and then there's another cousin who's a girl whose name I can't remember.
Bailey.
Yes.
Bailey, Trinity.
And there's Trinity, who I have an actress in mind for her, but I can't tell you the actress's name because I don't remember it. And then there was somebody else I can't remember. I think there was somebody else.
I think there's usually like a lot of characters in the Sarah Dessen book, but it's usually like anywhere between like I would say 3 to 5 main people. But yeah, this time around there were quite a few because there were like multiple love interests this time. So there was Drew, and then there was the other guy Blake.
Yeah, I didn't like him.
Yeah, he was not necessary for the story, but whatever. And then there's all her family. I do admit that her family, it was hard to keep up with in the very beginning, like who was who, because she has so many cousins. And then there's friends to their cousins, like that girl Taylor. And there's
Taylor. I was thinking of Taylor, not Trinity.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Taylor's the one who like gave the attitude for writing in with Jack at the very beginning.
Even though they're cousins.
There were a lot of people I had to keep up with, but generally, like in the beginning, I didn't even care about these people. Just like, just move on with the story.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but this was like probably like the last thing I noticed is right at the beginning of the book, her compulsive like organizing
Yeah.
is mentioned. But then did you notice it's not mentioned again until the end of the book? Like
Yeah.
it like, disappeared for the whole book and then showed up right at the end.
Yeah, but it said that because she started cleaning the rooms and she started being so busy with that, she felt there was. I wish I tabbed it because I did tab some parts. I wish I tabbed it, but it said that because she got so busy with actually cleaning hotels, she didn't feel it was necessary to compulsively clean her own little space.
Yeah.
And then it was only after she got home or she got to the other resort area with her dad that she
Mhm.
started, because she was so bored and she didn't have a lot to do, she started compulsively cleaning everything again.
And like I'm glad because at the beginning of this book, and she got dropped off at the motel. It was like okay, she like because you know when you get secondhand embarrassment,
Yeah.
like, this was like secondhand awkwardness because it's like these are new people she doesn't remember. She's just in this room like that. It's awkward.
Yeah. Especially when she started like, there's a whole segment where she notices how much toast they eat, and I'm
Yeah,
just Jesus Christ.
I wish we okay. So they said it was. I think he was supposed to be called like the sergeant or something. Got the toaster and it's Trinity's like
We
boyfriend.
never see him. I was kinda mad about it.
I wanted to see him. I was hoping he would like show up at the end.
Yeah, the one thing I kept thinking throughout the whole book, because Trinity kept saying, "Oh, he's gonna join me at the end of his tour. He's gonna come back for me, and we're gonna get married and blah blah blah, live happy ever after." I seriously thought that him not showing up was gonna be a huge plot point for the
Mhm.
story. Like, I seriously thought he was gonna abandon her, and she's gonna be crazy
Yeah.
by herself alone, and
Mhm.
so
I'm
I
sure he was
seriously thought
alone,
that was
but
gonna be a thing, but he doesn't even come, and I'm just like, "Okay."
yeah.
Point of mentioning him if he's not even gonna show up in the story.
Maybe we can get like a novella, like a second novella
I've tried.
about like him showing up. That's what I would like.
Really funny.
I only wrote 6 notes. We've already talked about 4 of them. Um, heading it like it's in chapter 14, but I don't know where. I don't like I get why the dad wants to not say anything about her past because it's probably like, painful for him, but I don't like that he doesn't want to tell her anything.
I know and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of things about the dad in this book pissed me off.
Mhm.
Like, he's so controlling, and at one point, like, she's at the very end of the book, she's, like, arguing with him, and he's, like, telling her she can't go because she might drink and it might cause things, and she's like, "I'm not my mom, we're not the
Mhm.
same people, I have no interest in becoming that person," and I feel like she was right in that he's comparing her to her mom, and he's afraid that she's gonna, it almost like in that scene, it almost feels like he is like she said, it's not gonna be an inevitable thing, it's not like I am
Mhm.
gonna become an alcoholic and kill myself or whatever, um, or cause myself to die because of my drinking. But sometimes he really pissed me off because it really did seem like he was trying so hard for her not to become her mom that he was smothering her.
Mhm. And one thing that like it, this was so
Hold on, Chloe, you froze. You froze. Can you hear me? Is it me that's froze?
Okay, we are still live. There we go. Can you hear me?
All right. I didn't hear what you said. So go ahead. Are we still live
It says we're still live. You froze again.
with your point?
Hold on. We are still live. I'm wondering if it is this the same video? Did it start itself over? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
No, I see it. We're still on the air.
Okay. Okay, good. Anyway, but who was it? When the hurricane is happening and Trinity needs help and she wants to go over to Trinity, the dad goes, doesn't she have family that can help her? And she finally looks at him and goes, we are her family. And I was like, it's about time that somebody says it to him.
Yeah. The fact is, can you hear me?
A little bit. It's fragmented.
Okay.
There we go.
Hold on. Because I'm like being repeated. I'm echoing. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'll just ignore it. So I guess, I don't know. I think her dad is trying so hard to forget the past that he's willing to overlook the fact that she does have this other side of the family. And the fact that he kept her from them since she was a little girl, like, obviously pissed me off. Not even lie. Like, the fact that she hasn't seen her mother's family since she was this tiny little girl. It's like, it's so sad. And also for me, for her to never question it, for her never to wonder what happened to my mother's family, like, why don't I see them? It just like, do you not realize that you have this whole other side of your DNA out there? Aren't you curious about it? Like, she didn't even think about it until she was literally forced to spend the summer with them.
Yeah, and I found myself not really liking the dad for when he was in the story. And at the end of chapter 16, I noticed that I think the dad acts a certain way when the new wife is around, when Tracy is there, and then acts differently when she's not there. And I didn't like that. And like, I think even Tracy has sympathy for Emma because she sees things differently than the dad does. Like, she sees, like, okay, this is still her family and she's not going to get in the way of that. You know what I mean?
And also, like, another thing that I had a huge problem with was the fact that he would force her to drive.
Oh, with the thing they're driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know why he was so insistent about that. Like, if she doesn't want to drive, you don't have to make her drive.
Yeah. Like, she's clearly traumatized and, like, you're forcing her to get behind the wheel. It's not that big a deal if she doesn't want to drive. Eventually she'll get there, but forcing her behind the wheel is not going to help matter.
I agree, yeah. Like, I just didn't like the dad at all. The dad just had not good vibes. Didn't like him at all.
What was something else? Oh, okay. I wanted to talk to you about is the friend, one of the friends that's from back home that we only see like them talking on the phone, but we never actually see them in scenes. I think it was Ryan. The fact that he came out as gay. What did you think about that?
I actually forgot about it until you just said it. Part of me thinks that it's good to see this in YA, but at the same time, I feel like at certain points it's being forced. I don't really know how to think of it now because I didn't really think about it at the time when I actually read it. But I feel like now it's like people are trying to force it into YA. Like,
Here's my thing. I was happy to see it.
Yeah.
But as someone who has read pretty much like 90% of her book, and she has never had a gay character before, and now all of a sudden she does, and she's pulling what I call a Sarah J. Maas move, in which she just literally throws in some LGBT in the book. And I don't think it's okay if you want to do it, I think there should be a better way to do it, not just all this include some side character that we never get to see, by the way. It's only mentioned a couple times.
Yeah.
Turns to be gay. And granted, I'm glad that these things are being included in books, because it means that the world is progressing and it's good.
Mhm.
It's a good thing. But I feel like this is very much a Sarah J. Maas move in which you just sprinkle in some LGBT into the book and call it,
Yeah.
oh, I'm being inclusive, and that's not how it works. I feel like
Yeah.
all this was almost offensive as opposed to being inclusive, because all
That
I just didn't like, just out of nowhere this character becomes gay, and I'm like, okay.
it's like, okay, I'll go with it. Yeah, I agree. It's it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is a big thing, time to be inclusive and just put it in there, but it's not like natural.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean. I don't really know how to word it, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
Um, what else do we want to talk about with this book? I went through all my notes.
I went through mine. The
What do you think about this book being like the biggest Sarah J. Maas fan? Or not Sarah J. Maas. What are we talking about? Sarah Dessen. I see. I don't even know. What are your thoughts being one of the biggest Sarah Dessen fans?
it was good. I mean, I really, really liked the story, but it wasn't her best work. Like, she has some good books out there that are phenomenal, and this was up there, but it wasn't, in my opinion, just wasn't that good as
Mhm.
compared to the other books. Like, this lullaby was amazing. The Truth About Forever was really, really good. And this one is pretty. It was pretty satisfying. Like, it had like the typical Sarah J. Maas ish to it, and there were some of her books that she's recently released that didn't quite live up to that Sarah J. Maas magic, I like to call. Like, The Moon and More was definitely a disappointment. Once and For All was also not that great. But this one actually, it was pretty good, and the main character was relatable. The story was nice. I really liked side characters. Usually Sarah J. Maas has really nice side characters to it. Sarah J. Maas, Sarah Dessen has really nice. Sarah
Yep.
has very nice side, like, especially, and I like that Sarah Dessen, she kind of tends to focus a lot on friendship. There's a good, like, most of her books has really nice female friendships within them, and I feel like this was one of them. Even though Bailey was sometimes, I wanted to slap the hell out of Bailey because
Yeah, I didn't like her.
um, I remember that scene where she confronts Bailey about, I told you I'm leaving, and all you care about is the fact that I'm going across across the lake to be in this
Yeah.
resort that's really nice, where the guy that you like currently is like living, or he works there. I don't know. And she
Um,
was like, "You really hurt my feelings," and I was like, "Thank you for saying something," because Bailey was so annoying sometimes. Like, all she cared is about this guy who clearly doesn't care about her, but
yeah, who's an asshole anyway.
yeah. I mean, he didn't the fact that he had a girlfriend and he took the girlfriend to the prom and left Bailey hanging, he didn't even tell her, "Hey, I can't take you, I'm sorry,"
Mhm.
and left his friend who was picking up our main character, to tell Bailey that he's not coming. It's like, wow.
And he wasn't even gonna say anything either.
No, what a dick move, and the fact that she was willing to give him a second chance in the end, I was like, "What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with all these people?
What did this
There's
guy have to do to get you to stop liking?" Oh my god, no.
there's like a fly or like a gnat flying around me, and I don't like it.
Like, generally, Sarah Jessica has nice friendships. I don't think this one was the best, just because, like I said, I think Bailey, for the majority of the book, was a pretty shitty friend. Um,
Mhm.
but and then the other friends that she had from back home, she talked on the phone with them a few times, but there was never really a lot of interaction with them. And
Yeah.
the Sarah Destin book, there is a huge, like, the friendship is a huge emphasis for the overall plot of the story.
Maybe, like, there wasn't an emphasis on the from home friends because she wanted to put more of an emphasis on the lake people.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'll probably never pick up another Sarah Dessen book unless I have to again.
that's sad.
Well, like, my local used bookstore has, like, a ton of Sarah Dessen too.
You need to buy more.
Probably everything that you have.
I need to go visit it. It's been a while.
I honestly, like, thought about getting the rest of the story, like, while we were in New York, and I was like, "Why?" Like,
You
I'm
already
not
you already read it by then, right?
Yeah, and technically my arc expires because it came out already. But I'm like, I'm never gonna read it again. I don't need to own it. But I think I finished it like on we were in New York. It was like the second day in New York. I finished it.
Yeah, there's a lot
because I get up the earliest out of everybody. So I don't know what to talk about now. I'm all out of things.
Yeah, me too. I went through all my tabs. I didn't have that many tabs, but I went through all my tabs.
Yeah, it's just another contemporary book for me. One that I'll never read again, but I enjoyed while reading. And just my final thoughts are I gave it 4 stars. It's just another contemporary book that I enjoyed, but it's not like an all-time favorite now.
Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. For me, it's hovering around like 4.5-ish, but I just decided to round up because I did like the story and I really love Sarah Dessen. If you guys are looking for good recommendations for a Sarah Dessen book, definitely read it. This Lullaby, Truth About Forever is really good too. Like those are like the major Sarah Dessen books that I would highly recommend to everybody because they really have that magic, the Sarah Dessen magic, like full on throughout the book. Like you will love the book. So I would highly recommend those.
And now talking about July. I also don't own a copy of this book, so I have the cover. Oh, you got it? Okay. And I've got the cover. The book we're going to be reading in July is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I haven't even read Evelyn Hugo yet, but I'm going to read it before I read this. That's for sure. I almost started it yesterday, but I ended up picking up Throne of Glass instead because that came in from the library to read. So our live show is temporarily scheduled for Sunday, for Sunday, July 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Any changes will be announced on our Twitter at Once Read Along. Make sure you go follow us there for up-to-date information. And that's all I got. So I've heard a lot of different mixed things about this book. Like today I heard that somebody hated this book. So
I've only been
we'll see what happens there. And that is all we have for our Sarah Dessen live show, the rest of the story. Thank you all for coming if you came to watch this live. Thank you all for watching this if you're watching it after it's up on my channel. And make sure to come by for our Daisy Jones and the Six live show next month in July. So we will see you guys then. Bye.